Hola, amigos. Welcome to the Best of Mazatlan Show. My name is Mark Lickman, and I'm your host and publisher of bestofmazatlan.com, the leading digital lifestyle brand of Mazatlan, Mexico. This show will feature entrepreneurs, leaders, local businesses, nonprofits, realtors, musicians, and other stories that showcase the best of Mazatlan, Mexico. I'm thrilled to be with my guest, Sheryl Gamble. Cheryl is an award-winning real estate rock star with Keller Williams in Mazatlan, Mexico, and she's going to tell us everything you always wanted to know about how you can live the dream in Mazatlan, Mexico, and give us some awesome insider tips on where you can find some great real estate values in Mazatlan. If you're watching this show live, please like and share this show and send in your questions to Cheryl. To send in your questions, you can do it from any Facebook page you're watching on right now, or you can go to the address that's running across the screen right now, streamyard.com/Facebook to give them access. Cheryl, we've never met, but I feel like I know you through your Facebook posts and groups and from our messages. And here's what I've learned about you. You've lived in the U.S., Canada, and for 37 years in Mazatlan, Mexico. And you're a lover of Mazatlan, as evidenced by your Facebook group page, We Love Mazatlan, Mexico. Yeah. You have a beautiful heart. You're a warrior, and you're tenacious and energetic, and you always put your clients first. And I know I packed a lot into that introduction, so without further ado, I want to welcome Cheryl to the Best of Mazatlan Show, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Thank you, Mark. I'm honored to be here. I really am. And I'm touched by your kind words about me as a person and a realtor. I came to Mazatlan in 1983 on a vacation from Canada in the middle of the summer. I fell in love with the people and the place. You know, often people moved here because of the beach, of the prices, whatever. No, not me. I moved here because of the magic of Mazatlan is its people. And I came and never went back. And here I am, 37 years later, living here, living the dream that so many people wish they could. And you can. But yeah, I love it here. It's my city, it's my people, it's my country. And I'm very, very honored that they have opened their hearts and homes to me.
And that's great, Cheryl. Yeah, it's a great city. I've made friends for life in Mazatlan. You know, the people I worked with 25 years ago, I saw them all in Tianguis, and it was like we never left. You know, you really make close, great friends there for life. Yeah, so what were some of the challenges when you first started selling real estate in Mazatlan? You know, it's always...
Well, here in Mazatlan, we don't have a license. So it's kind of difficult because there's not the guidelines. Sure, we have AMPI and there's guidelines, and the license is coming, which we're all very grateful for. So some of the challenges were to make sure that the person who was selling the property actually has a signed contract, that they're going to do follow-up, that they're going to work on their client's behalf. But other than that, that basically was it. And, you know, like learning, I was fortunate because I started working at Remax Sunset Eagle with Flavio Michel. And he opened the door for me. He helped me grow as a person. And I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. And, what I'm really grateful for is that it's my passion. How many people can say that they are doing what they're passionate about and that you actually can make money? I mean, how wonderful is it that we can help find somebody their castle or sell their property so they can go to the next step in their lives, right?
Right.
So
now you had mentioned AMPI, and so for people that don't know, because, you know, if there is no license, you know, I'm sure there's a perception out there that it's a scary proposition to buy real estate in Mexico. But explain to people what AMPI is, and does that mean that the realtor is that has some kind of certification that others may not, and therefore you're more credible? Or
Well, currently, AMPI is the Real Estate Association of Mexico, and we have a branch here in Mazatlan. And most of the time, if they're an AMPI member, then it's good, right? But what I suggest that people do is to find a good, reputable company, first of all.
Right.
An international one helps, but also that you have a good, reputable realtor inside that company, because I've had experiences as well with that haven't been so pleasant. So I think what I would do if I was somebody looking for real estate in Mazatlan is I would ask out there. A lot of people ask on Facebook, but Facebook, sometimes people are recommending friends and family, and they're not really an active realtor, like, or they are, but they're not to the standards that maybe might not be so good. So I would ask for testimonies that are real, you know, and just, I mean, because there are some really good realtors out there. There really is. And it shouldn't be a painful process for our buyers and sellers. And we're supposed to make that easier and better for them, because, you know, a lot of our market is foreigners, and they are not familiar with how things are done here in Mexico or in Mazatlan. Right,
absolutely. You know, I know the market's changed a lot in the last 20 years. It used to be, when I was there, I remember it was US, Canadians, but you know, there's been so many improvements to the highway and Durango now, and it seems like the Mexican market has picked up much more. Talk to us about how the market's changed in the last 5-10 years because of those improvements.
Well, you're exactly right. The highway to Durango opened up a whole market for us. I mean, those people always came, because this was the closest beach resort. But now they're buying because they can be here in 2.5 hours. But also what has happened in the last couple of years, especially since COVID, it's just gone through the roof. I mean, it's like we have a lot of towers going up on the Malecon, but a lot of our product and our inventory is depleting very fast. Why? Because I think people after COVID, this is my personal opinion, just said, you know what? I want to be where I want to be. Life is too short. Or, you know, they had the cabin fever or whatever. We have done a lot of sales without people actually seeing the properties. We do video tours, etc. But the market has increased for buyers. We have Americans, Mexicans, Canadians. We have people that are buying small properties, big properties, houses, condos. It's like you can't find the inventory that we could before. The prices, they're starting to go up, especially on the beach. They haven't gone up in other places, but it depends on where you want to purchase. I have a list of questions I always send my clients, so I know what to look for. And if they want a rental property, don't give them something that they can't rent, et cetera, et cetera. But the market it's hot. We're in a boom. But as you know, Mark, Mazatlan has grown. I mean, our Central Historical, our Malecon, the things that they're actually doing, and we're winning awards constantly. I believe we're the second best place in the world to retire.
I know, it's been unbelievable. You know, it's almost like there was the before Tianguis, and for those people that don't know what Tianguis is, it's the show that happens every year where all the business in Mexico gets done with all the hotels and the airlines and whatnot. And it traditionally was in Acapulco every year for forever. And they awarded it to Mazatlan. And the improvements that were made in advance of that were magnificent. And a long time coming, as you know, Cheryl. And it's changed the face of Mazatlan in a really positive way. But you know, there is a lot of development going on, a lot of high rises. How do you see that impacting not only the real estate market, but just Mazatlan in general?
Well, for me personally, even if I wasn't working in real estate, I would be happy. Why? Because the people of Mazatlan are living a better life, because it's bringing so much income to them personally.
Right. That's great.
So, you know, I mean, when I moved here in 1985, there was one traffic light and nobody had a car. Now, how many traffic lights do we have? How many cars? People are buying cars. They're living there, you know. And if I sell real estate, I can go to the taco stand. The taco stand can go to the taco stand owner can go to the shoe store, et cetera, et cetera. So we are flourishing big time.
Yeah, that's great.
And that to me is more important than the development. You know, I mean, I really want the people to succeed and have a better life. Or
Yeah, absolutely. Especially after the last couple rough years of not a lot of tourists and whatnot. Before I go on, I just want to shout out to some people that are watching. Jay Ergo, great to see this, Mark. Let's see, Pal Landon. She is Pata Salada already. That's to you, Cheryl.
Oh, Aaron, yes, and I'm a Mazatlanca.
Yeah. Barb Christofek. Cheryl is a Rockstar. Pablo Rodriguez Becerril. Thanks, Cheryl. Thumbs up. Yeah. So you got some fans out there.
But one thing I want to comment, because some people are concerned with the growth and development of Mazatlan and how big it's coming. And we have a lot of things coming, a lot, like it's incredible. But I got to tell you, going back to talking about the magic of Mazatlan is its people, that's never going to change.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how big we become. We're not going to become a Cancun, a Cabo, or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Thank God.
The core of Mazatlan is its people.
Right.
Plus, we are a city as well as a tourist destination. We are the only colonial city by the sea, which means we have central historical and we have the sea. So yeah, you can tell. Sometimes when I'm showing property and I'm telling people my little Mazatlan speech, they're like, "What are you trying to sell here, Mazatlan or this property?" And I'm like, "Mazatlan."
Well, since you mentioned that, I mean, do most of the people that come to you, are they looking in Mexico or are they looking specifically in Mazatlan? And then
that's an interesting question, because I've had in my career of real estate since 2008, I've had maybe 14, 15 people that said, "Oh, we're not going to buy in Mazatlan. We're going to come here. We're going to look at it first, and then we're going to make our decision." And I'm like, First, I'll pick you up at the airport. I give you a tour of my CD, and then they fall in love with it. All of them except for one have bought here. Barb, the one that was just on, he was one of them, you know. And it's like, and I mean, because I think to sell real estate, you gotta sell what Mazatlan has to offer.
Absolutely.
It's a full package, right?
Definitely. Well, I felt that way when I was head of marketing at El Cid. It was like, we need to sell the destination, you know, because especially since people didn't hear about it. And I actually did focus groups in the market in San Francisco and Los Angeles, and to find out why we weren't getting more business from them. And they were saying, because we don't hear from you enough about what's going on in Mazatlan. You know, we hear from Cabo, we always hear from Cancun, we always hear what's going on. You know, we don't get that kind of communication from Mazatlan. And then we started, you know, ramping that up and everything. Once we learned that it wasn't like they had something against Mazatlan, they just didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And we got another. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. And you, congratulations. You have changed that for us here. And I've been watching that over the years, Mark. It's not something that just started with you. And I think, you know, it's like we have something special here. We need to show people and educate them, because they're going to love it.
Right. Absolutely. And a couple other shout outs here. Patty Hickok, Cheryl knows more about Mazatlan than those of us born there. and then Pal Landon wrote, "You were right, as you are not just selling a property, but a home. And that has to do with the place you want to spend some more time with family."
Hey, those are Mazatlecas saying that.
Ah, that's great. That's fantastic. So look at, Mazatlan's a city of neighborhoods with they all have different vibes, Centro, the Golden Zone, Cerritos, Sabalo. Tell us about that and how you would characterize the different areas and how do you match up clients to neighborhoods because they're all so different.
Okay, excellent question, Mark. Again, it goes back to my list of questions that I give my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try to sell them a property here in Central Historical if that's not what they're interested in.
Right.
But sometimes they don't really know. I had a client that said, I'm not going to move to Cerritos. I don't want Cerritos. I showed them everything. And finally I said, hey, I have a perfect house for you in Cerritos. Let's go take a look. He bought there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I first bought my house in Sabalo Country, I didn't like Sabalo Country.
Right.
You get used to your neighborhood and what it has to offer. Some people only want in front of the beach. Okay, well then you're not going to look at something in Central Historical or inland. So again, we have really nice neighborhoods and they're all called different names, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have Sabalo Country, we have El Cid, we have Cerritos. So you got to get to know what your clients really want and where you will feel comfortable. But also sometimes you got to show them that maybe this is an area you might like, and leave it open to them.
Yeah. I mean, talk about the areas a little bit. Like the Golden Zone is the tourist zone where El Cid and all the hotels are. So it's a little probably noisier than, say, some other neighborhoods. Centro is where, you tell about it because you're the one who's selling it.
It depends. Like when I lived in Sabalo Country, that's considered the Golden Zone. So if you're going to live in the heart of the Avenida Camarón Sabalo, it's going to be noisier.
Mm-hmm.
But some people like that noise.
Right. Some people do.
Like that action,
Yeah.
But if you go back into Las Gaviotas or you go into it's all good. It's just different. That's all. It's like apples and oranges. Central Historical, very interesting about Central Historical. When I first moved here, there was a tree growing in the Angela Peralta Theater. Now this is one of the highly in demand, if that's how you say it, areas of Mazatlan. And it's interesting because it used to be just the foreigners.
Right.
Now the Mexicans want a piece of Central Historical.
Wow.
So, and since Tianguis, when we did 11 blocks of renovating the streets and the lights and et cetera, it is a breathtaking place. Especially at night.
Yeah, I love it. There's so much energy there and music. I just love going. I'm a big fan of Pedro and Lola's. I've known Alfredo a long time, and it's so always just great to when I get there. It's the first place I go, and just love sitting out there. But it's grown so much. I mean, all the new restaurants there. I mean, it's just so alive with energy and places with so much character. It's
And the other thing is, it's interesting because I remember when we used to have like 2 fine dining restaurants in Mazatlan.
Right.
Now we have become quite famous in all of Mexico for our foods. It's not just Mexican food, and we do have our specialties from Sinaloa, but also we have every kind of food, and the restaurants are great. They're not good, they're great.
Oh, I know. I love the food in Mazatlan. I remember when I first moved there, I was like addicted to shrimp wrapped in bacon until I realized it was probably going to kill me if I kept eating it. But I mean, I just love, I love the fresh shrimp and seafood in Mazatlan. And just the way, the specialties in Mazatlan are just unique and fantastic. It's been so nice to see it evolve as a food destination the way it has, because it's much more authentic, and that's the beauty of Mazatlan for me. It's not like a tourist town that was beamed down in the middle of a desert like Cancun or others. It was a shrimp village, and it evolved into a tourist destination. So it's so much different than Cabo and Cancun and anywhere else in Mexico. So let me ask you this: are there still good deals to be found? I know the inventory is low, and if there are good deals to be found, are they in any specific neighborhoods, or what's hot right now?
What I have found personally is that you get a listing and it sells within 4 or 5 days, 2 weeks, whatever. That was unheard of before. So when the realtors are getting a good listing, like say for instance at Paraiso, Costa Bonita, and Cerritos, I sold it in 4 days.
Wow.
And it's like there are good deals, but what I tell everybody, even if they're not my clients, if you see something, you act on it now, because down the road, a few days, a week, a month, whatever, it's not going to be there.
Wow.
So there are good deals out there still, but they're far and few between. So you got to act on it. You can't wait or.
Yeah.
And I tell them, just, act on it as fast as you can without trying to pressure people, because it is a big decision. But on the other hand, we have to educate them that it's not a market like before. So
Right.
if they see something, they need to buy it.
Do you find that, I know you're into the real estate piece and not the rental piece, but I mean, do you find that people come and rent and then buy, or because the market's so hot, they're just kind of just buying almost sight unseen, like it's happening here too?
They are. The thing is that, yeah, I don't really work in rentals, but I do have two particular people that I refer rentals to. What we saw with rentals before was the price was going up. Okay, that was happening. So now, people that rent, they buy. Yeah, they do, because they fall in love with the city. Some people want to try it. They want to rent first. I don't always recommend that, because while you're renting, then the prices go up. The inventory goes down. So, if you have a good realtor, they'll help you make that decision and win, not,
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, the rentals have gotten so high here, it almost makes more sense to buy, because the price of your monthly mortgage is going to be less than what you're paying in rent. So I don't, it changes things, but, so where would you say most of your clients are from? Is it US, Canada? I mean, what's the percentage of
all?
All?
I'm very, very.
You serve all people.
I'm tricultural.
I know you are. I know you are.
I have a lot of foreigners, Americans and Canadians. I have Mexicans, and I don't just focus on one market ever. Right. I don't want to limit myself. I know that working with foreigners is a little bit more work because of the bank trust that they have to obtain. But it doesn't matter. Again, I'm finding people's castles for them, and that's what I love. So yeah, I work with all. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Even though my Spanish is más o menos.
Yeah, mine was not too good either, but I tried. So, healthcare is always a big concern when people are moving to Mexico. And what's been your experience with getting quality healthcare in Mazatlan?
Oof, that's a hard one for me, because I've had cancer twice. And I think basically the healthcare is good. I've been in the hospitals here a few times because of those health issues. Excellent care. But for me, after going to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and they referred me to an excellent doctor in Mexico City. He's actually the second best in the country. So I do everything in Mexico City, because that started in 2010 when I had breast cancer. So, but that's why I go there. But there is good healthcare here. But if it's something super serious, maybe because of my experience, I would rather go to Mexico City, which is not that far. And I mean,
no, it's not. It's not far at all for anybody. If the medical situation presents itself, it's very accessible. So,
yeah. And often I get asked about health insurance. I have health insurance with Wang Chong, Yeah, his name is Juan Chong. And I actually have my car.
I'm not going to touch that one, Cheryl.
I have my health insurance with him, my car insurance,
Wow.
my home insurance, et cetera, et cetera.
Because you just like saying his name. That's
yeah, I know. He's a super nice guy. He's completely bilingual. But I always tell them I don't know what the requirements are to get health insurance here in Mexico, but I suggest that you look into it as fast as possible because there is an age limit, I think. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, I remember when I was there, I had a health plan with El Cid, but the medical was so inexpensive that I never really ended up using it because the doctors that made house calls then, I had experience with Sharp Hospital then, which was the only hospital at the time. Now there's a second hospital in Mazatlan.
There's actually a couple more now.
Oh, are there? Okay.
Yeah.
So the healthcare has improved, and it was always good in Mazatlan. But Mexico City's there, and there are some of the top doctors in the world in Mexico City.
Oh, yes.
So.
And hospitals. I started calling my hospital in Mexico City a hotel because of that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and that's an interesting thing that you brought up because doctors still, I can contact my doctor any time of day, night, weekends, holidays, and they answer me.
Mm-hmm.
They make house calls.
Yes.
It's very inexpensive for that. But also for all you animal lovers out there, the vets do the same thing.
Do they really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's good because there's a lot of animal lovers out there that are worried about their animals' care when they move here. Yeah, they'll make house calls also.
Oh, good. That's good to know because I'll probably be coming with a dog at some point. So I've had dogs there, but I don't remember the vets making house calls. But I knew that the doctors and the pharmacies make house calls too, don't they?
Oh, yes, they do.
They deliver. Yeah, it's like the good old days in Mazatlan when doctors made house calls and you could have pharmacies deliver. It's great.
We just don't have glass milk bottles delivered.
Uh-oh.
That passed. That we don't have that anymore.
Oh, no. But does the guy come by in the truck with the fresh yogurt still, or?
Yes, and the fresh vegetables and the shrimp and oh yeah. You don't even have to leave your house if you don't want to.
I know, well, but you want to because you want to get out and enjoy the city. But so I know many people have the perception about buying real estate in Mexico, and what do you tell people to put their mind at ease? I mean, you said there's no licensing, so right away, and then just the logistics of it. Talk a little bit about the process that helps put people's minds at ease, that it's not such a scary proposition to buy real estate in Mexico. Because I know a lot of people that feel that way, do you own the house? I mean, is it, that kind of thing.
Okay. So here, because we're by the ocean, there's a law that says that from 100 kilometers from the border and 50 from the ocean, you have to have a bank trust or a fideicomiso. The fideicomiso actually protects us a lot. Why? Okay. Because you have to have a notary or a notario. A notario is somebody who went to school to be a lawyer first, and then he went back to school to specialize in being a notary, and then he has to be invited in by the association, and he has to take really hard tests and everything.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so it's not like in the States and Canada that it's a $60 certificate.
Right.
So the notaries or the notario's job is to check for liens, to make sure there's no debts against the property, like if you have HOA fees, et cetera. But also the bank trust does that for us. Mm-hmm. One of the very interesting things about the bank trust or fideicomiso is that you are the owner of the property, that you own it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it, you can donate it, you can leave it to your kids, et cetera, et cetera. So the way it works is you have Mr. and Mrs. Smith on the deed or the escrituras, and then they have their beneficiaries underneath. So if something happens to Mr. Smith, it goes to Mrs. Smith. If something happens to Mrs. Smith, it goes to Mr. Smith. Something happens to both of them, it goes to your beneficiaries.
Ah.
So they just have to present a legalized death certificate, and then they go to the notary and the bank trust, and they change their name. So there's no probate. It's simple procedure. And the notario, it was interesting because I had a Mexican woman with an American man, and they wanted to know, should they have the bank trust or not? So we went to the notario, and he said, I wish we Mexicans had it that easy. And I said, but isn't it more expensive? He goes, in the long run, it is not more expensive, but it's a great way to own property. So what does that mean? That means that you're protected. It means that everything's been done well, because it's not only the notary who's checking it, it's also the bank trust and the government. So
good.
it's safe. When you hear those horror stories,
right,
like from other places, it's usually because there was no reputable realtor involved. Sorry. Right. It's true. Secondly, what happens is that there's no bank trust involved. And, I've often said, I had a client one time come and he goes, I'd like to list my 3 condos I bought. I go, okay, can you give us the deeds? Well, I don't have the deeds. Can you give us the contract that you signed with the developer? No, I don't have anything. This was a successful businessman from Chicago. And I'm like, why did you leave your brain at the board? I mean, come on. Of course, right. I helped him and we ended up selling the properties. But it's like, you just have to be cautious. Do your research. But the notario is going to protect you, and it's a secure thing. But you got to make sure, this is really important, because I'm finding that there is some difficulties, because when I go to my closings with my clients, I check all the documents to make sure everything is correct. Name, here in Mexico, if you have one letter different in your name, you're a different person. Right. So I check everything. I check the property tax number. I check everything. And I have an excellent assistant. Her name is Paulina. And she checks all the deeds, all the documents before we even get there. So that's really important, because sometimes there's mistakes made and the realtors often don't check it. And, it's all the documents in Spanish that they're signing, because they have to legally be in Spanish. And so what happens is the poor buyer doesn't know what what they don't understand, because it's a different process. So you have to have your realtor there at the closing, but not just there, but checking everything. And then you're okay. Everything's good.
That's great. That's great information, Cheryl. Thanks for sharing that. You got a shout out here from Eric Ponce. Sheryl Gamble saved my condo deal about 1.5 years ago. She really works for the consumer. Gracias.
Oh, thanks, Eric. And I wasn't his realtor.
Well, he thinks you were.
No, he knows I wasn't, but I said well. Yeah. And that's
okay.
the thing that I do often is I try to help the other realtors in any way I can. I am also known as being super difficult, because my clients come first. Does not matter. They come first. And by God, they're first. But on the other hand, I often help people who reach out to me and that I don't even know and say, oh, can you help us? We want to fire our realtor. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Right. Let's try to get it fixed. And I have fixed them. Why? Because that's the right thing to do. Second, they need help. Third, I'm not here to step on anybody's toes. And everybody knows that, I'm very strict. I'm very anal about things, but I also will help anybody. There's enough business for us all.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, Cheryl. Fantastic. Okay. So we're at the lightning round of the interview. And I'm going to ask you a few questions, that little snippet answers here. We're going to veer off the real estate for a second. What's your favorite place to eat in Mazatlan? I know, too many. There's too many.
I actually have 3, well,
Okay.
actually 4. Of course, Hector's. I mean, you can't get any better than Hector's Bistro.
No.
You know, and I gave him his first job at Mazatlan. So
Did you really?
yeah, I did. But besides that, he has earned his place in
Yeah.
being
Food's
number 1.
fantastic there. Yep.
The Casa Mayora is one of my new favorites. Love it. There's full of history. Do you know there's a tunnel underneath that?
No, I didn't know that.
Goes to the ocean. Beautiful history.
Wow.
Beautiful history. The pirates
Does-
bringing the gold and the
Is it still? Is it still open, or I mean, how do you?
You can see it because they covered up one part with glass and they put a light underneath it. But they have,
Wow! How cool is that?
a lot of the old houses in Central Historical have that. Who knew?
Wow. God.
That they have really good food. I like Now Kitchen. There's a of course, I love Diego's on the beach.
Right.
I mean, he has excellent food, a great atmosphere, good music. You have to be a little careful on the weekends because the banda's on the beach, but
Yeah.
I also like a restaurant called 500 Noches, 500 Noches. It's in it's by the Walmart and the Marina, and it's very good. But those are my favorites. Then I have my local favorites like El Bigotes, you know, those kind of restaurants, Tacos Figueroa, you know, and yeah. And there's a new hamburger place here in Playa Sur called Sunny Buns. Excellent hamburgers.
Wow.
And pinups in the Golden Zone. Can I keep going or what?
Yeah. So much for your favorite place.
It's like, yeah, but they know.
You have a few of them.
Yeah.
That's funny. How about your favorite bar in Mazatlan?
I don't go to bars.
Okay.
Wait. I forgot one of my favorite restaurants, which has the best music in Mazatlan. It's called the Mocajeteria, and it's on Constitucion here in Central Historical. Marco used to be involved with frogs. He has 2,500 albums, vinyl albums. Music is out of this world. The molcajetes are delicious.
Ooh, God, don't tease me.
Yeah, and I love going to that restaurant. I'm sorry, Marco, I forgot about that one. But yeah, but you're talking about a bar. I would go in there and you go in there to eat, but you could go to drink and enjoy the music from the 80s, or he plays Frank Sinatra, all the kind of music that I grew up in Mazatlan with.
Yeah, that's great. How about your favorite food in Mazatlan? What's your absolute favorite food to eat in Mazatlan?
Frijoles puercos.
You can't get that smile off your face, can you?
They're from Sinaloa, I think. No, they're either from Mazatlan or Sinaloa, but they're called frijoles puercos, and it's probably because of what goes inside. There's even tuna inside, but they are delicious beans. Even people who don't like beans love them. And you know, it's interesting because I've traveled all over Mexico to friends and families' houses, and I take frijoles puercos and shrimp, of course, because we're the shrimp capital of the world.
Right, of course,
right?
Have to.
But I would say frijoles puercos.
Okay.
How
about your favorite beach in Mazatlan? Where do you like to go to?
I like to go to Cerritos. There's a couple of places I go out there because I've sold properties and the owners invite me. I think, probably Cerritos. Although the safest place to swim and everything is the Playa Mazatlan. And I used to go there all the time. Why is it the safest? Because it's protected by the 3 islands. We have 3 islands. So,
right. That's right. Do they still do the horses out in Cerritos Beach or no? They used to do it years ago, but
I don't know if they do or
I know they do. I know Stone Island still does, but I didn't know if Cerritos was still doing it. How about your favorite activity in Mazatlan when friends come to visit?
Right now, number 1, the Observatorio.
Yeah.
Oh my
Talk
God.
about that a little bit.
Oh my
That's hot right now.
gosh. Can I tell you that I kept on hearing about it? And then my friends came and we went, and it was the 1 year anniversary the next day. So that's how long it took me to get there. It is incredible. And I highly recommend that you do the tour, because you come, okay, you meet there like around 3:30, whatever, and then you go up a tram up to the hill where the observatorio is. And
Mm-hmm.
it's an old, real one.
Oh,
Then
wow.
you go and you sit in a room, and they bring you popcorn, and then you watch a movie about Mazatlan. That's
Oh,
in
my God.
Spanish, English subtitles. But I learned so much about Mazatlan. I
Oh,
didn't
that's
know.
great. That's
Then
excellent.
then from there, you go to the bird aviary, where the birds land on your head, and it's fun. And there's iguanas and stuff, but it's beautiful up there. And then you end up in the Sky Bar. And the Sky Bar we went to where there was a fire pit, because it was still a little bit cool. And there was a whole bunch of us, all different people that we met. And then you watch the most incredible sunsets. Of course, that Mazatlan has world famous sunsets.
Oh, absolutely. The
Oh,
best.
yes. And you never get tired of them. But that place I'm going on Thursday. They actually have Thursdays, they have 2 for 1. And I don't remember exactly what the price is, but you can go on Facebook and you can book it right there with them. And it is incredible. I want to try the new pirate museum, but I haven't had time.
It's a new pirate museum. Interesting.
Hey, we're growing. We're going to have gondolas
my God! Wow.
To the lighthouse. We have the tallest freestanding lighthouse in the world.
Oh, I know, and they did some great improvements to it too.
They
needed to.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
They have a glass plank that you can go out.
Yeah, I know. It's so awesome now.
And then right below that, Mark, they're making the new music center.
Oh, I saw that. That looks fantastic. That's where they're
going to do the tribute to the banda, because banda comes from Mazatlan.
Mazatlan, right. Yeah, no, it's just so many improvements. What's your favorite improvement? There's been so many, but what's the favorite of yours?
Central Historical, all the lighting, all the beauty.
Yeah.
The Malecon. I
the
love
Malecon has been great.
I love the Beatles tribute.
I do too.
Oh my gosh. And it's like, why? I did a video for the city on that, but it's like, the Beatles are famous worldwide. And they took an area that wasn't popular, that wasn't kept up, and now it's beautiful. And they play Beatles music the whole time.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. By the way, Roberto Martinez, thank you, Roberto, says no more horses in Cerritos. And then he also said, please, if you go to Cerritos, it's a nice view, but not good for swimming in open seas, not safe.
That's why I say Playa Mazatlan, and that beach where Joe's Oyster Bar is safer.
Yeah. Thanks, Roberto, for weighing in on that one. We appreciate it. Okay. Well, geez, man, that went fast. Fantastic. You see, you were nervous. It's okay. I told you we'd get through this. No, you did a fantastic job, Cheryl. You really nailed it. And now I'm going to turn it over to you before we end the show for you to say whatever you want. But just thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
It's yours.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And I'm so grateful to my clients. Couldn't do it without you. And you believe in me. And I get a little bossy, but I get you through it, right? I'm very grateful to my Mazatlan and the people, to my Paulina and my son Biagio. He's only 20, but he's my heart and joy. So I thank you all. Mark, I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm honored. If anybody needs anything, even if it's not real estate, please feel free to reach out to me. I love to help. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to sign off my Best of Mazatlan show with this. We all have choices in life. Choose love, not hate. Choose positive, not negative. And always remember the glass is half full And if you're lucky, it'll be half full of tequila from La Sasuna. Stay tuned for the next Best of Mazatlan show next Tuesday, May 24th, when my guest will be Lisa Lenkins, the liaison for the foreign community in Mazatlan. Adios, amigos. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day.